Hi, my name is Vena. I'm originally from Rea, but I live in Nandi. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, I'm John from Kornabuan, Tavua. I love listening to Today FM. It rocks.
Bula, I'm Teopola.
Bula, I'm Makanisi.
We love listening to Today FM because it rocks in Ba.
Bula, my name is Tisa. I've been listening to Today FM.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Tonight, FSC confident of sugar industry recovery. Millions of dollars lost in aquaculture imports. And government to take services to outer areas.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
The Fiji Sugar Corporation is adamant that reforms within the sector will enable the industry to not only be sustainable, but flourish with new markets and upgraded infrastructure. Making a submission before the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economic Affairs towards the two sugar bills, FSC CEO Graham Clark explained that it was very possible for the sugar industry to bounce back. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
Over 100 submissions have been put before the committee on the bill to reform the sugarcane industry and one to amend the Sugarcane Growers Fund. Today, FSC added theirs.
Our industry is pretty much outdated. That's what's happening around the world. We have reduced our cane transportation from rail to trucks, very expensive, as observed by Honorable Gavoka. This is added cost. We can't find laborers.
With aged infrastructure, land lease issues and the loss of preferential pricing to the EU market, the odds seem stacked against the once golden goose of Fiji's economy.
The current dynamics in the world of sugar are driven by consumption in Asia and the Far East. Fiji sits right on the doorstep of those markets, yet we've abandoned them. I look back to the last 20 years, we've walked away from markets such as Korea, Japan, Indonesia, which are big consumers of the type of sugar that we produce.
Committee Chair Lorna Eden says there is a need for more clarifications on what the bill will mean for farmers.
Mainly they're just concerned with the changes. I think they've been so used to things being done one particular way forever and ever. And a lot of people don't like change. They're very cautious of change.
With close to 300,000 Fijians dependent on the sugar trade, government's commitment to the business is not only imperative for economic viability, but for the livelihoods of more than a third of our population. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health and Medical Services is investigating a video which has gone viral on social media. In the video, a staff nurse believed to be from Lautoka Hospital are arguing and chasing away a family who are querying the cause of death of their newborn. The family was pleading with the nurses to explain why the dead baby was left beside the mother an hour and a half after the delivery. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services says it is aware of the incident and is in contact with the family. The ministry says they will not be providing further details out of respect for the immediate family's privacy at this difficult time. Hundreds of people have been served during Phase 3 of the Help for Homes initiative, which began yesterday for the Ba and Tavua district. The government initiative was introduced to assist those whose homes were badly damaged by Tropical Cyclone Winston. Ellen Stolz with the story.
The Market Mbura in Ba and the Kshatriya Hall in Tavua were the two locations used to serve hundreds of people from nearby villages in the area who were thankful for this assistance by the government.
I feel very proud of this government because it helps us, it gives us, so it doesn't matter, it's waiting for a while, but we'll receive.
It helps the ministers to share everything for us. The government should help us.
These centres are where eligible members of the public receive their M-Paisa cards to be used to purchase supplies from various hardware outlets.
Around 690 cards were issued yesterday when officers here worked from 9 a.m. to early hours of this morning. As you can see, lines have already started from early as 4 a.m. this morning, with some feeling that the process is just taking way too long.
We're still waiting yesterday in line till 12 o'clock in the night. So I came again this morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Still waiting?
Yeah, still waiting now.
I went all the way in front of the line yesterday, but they had run out of yellow forms that we had to fill, so I was very disappointed.
The program is scheduled to end today, but if there's still crowds of people showing up at the venues, it might just be extended another day. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Millions of dollars are lost annually from buying aquaculture products overseas and importing it to Fiji. Fisheries Minister Semi Koroila-Visau confirms this is one of the main challenges his ministry faces. Akusita Tale has more.
Fiji has lost millions of dollars over the last 3 years to fresh fish and shrimp importation. $232 million was lost in 2014, a revised $200 million in 2015, and a projected $31 million lost last year.
We are spending about $20 million in aquaculture products, buying from overseas. So our first challenge is to try and replace as an import substitution. We want to generate our own production here, so that the 20+ million that we are spending overseas, we can produce it here.
Fiji imports a huge amount of fish and prawns to meet the demand from local hotels and restaurants. Koroila-Visau says aquaculture is their top priority now to help reduce this economic loss.
We can produce prawns, we can farm fish, and then we don't have to go overseas and buy all these products. Substantial amount of money is being spent, so that is cash outlay that has been taken out of the country. If we can substitute that, then we are providing commercial activity and also employing our own people to be involved.
However, the research director for the ministry says Fiji is challenged with producing seed stocks for fish, shrimp and freshwater prawns.
We will work with other technical partners that could function at a commercial level to also help us meet our strategic goal of moving forward to upscale our production system.
The ministry is expected to set up pilot-scale demonstration farms in the next 3 to 6 months to help disease-free seed stocks and increase production assistance to farmers around the country. The pilot project is expected to begin in the Central Division. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
In an effort to improve government service delivery to the disadvantaged population, 3 mobile service delivery buses have been commissioned today. This is part of a project funded by the Japanese government and implemented by the UNDP in partnership with the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation. Pranita Prakash has the story.
The mobile service delivery approach is being undertaken to reach all the communities throughout Fiji to ensure government services is made available to all Fijians.
We aim to rope in more arms of government who deliver essential services to rural Fijians to join us on our quest to reach more rural Fijians. The approach is proactive and will enable the key stakeholders to deliver the appropriate services for the multifaceted issues that arise during service delivery.
Through the REACH program, awareness is also raised on issues such as violence against women, people's rights and the need to uphold the rule of law.
It has become increasingly clear that there is a need for this type of mobile service delivery. Following awareness raising, 76% of people who hear of the government service available to them can then immediately access such services right in their own community.
The REACH mobile service delivery buses are custom designed and equipped to provide a mobile office for effective service delivery. Rural communities will straight away start to get access to social welfare and legal services through the buses. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Still to come, new harvesting machine a boost for Lombasa farmers. And Fence Fiji raises $100,000 for needy kids.
हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मेसी है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तापुआ में रहता है, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
ever-growing problem of sexual violence against children are fundamentally human rights issues and not just acts of crime. This has resulted in the Fiji Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission putting in place a child desk officer to deal with the problem. Sainiani Boiler reports.
The Fiji Human Rights Commission will soon be appointing a dedicated child desk officer to look into the ever-increasing child abuse cases.
The primary responsibility of the child desk officer is to deal with the rights of the child. As I said, we've got very strong and salutary constitutional provisions on the rights of the child under Section 41, but we also have serious issues in this country around depression and suicides and bullying in schools. There's a lot of violence. There's a prevalence of violence in boarding schools and all of that.
Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, Merseni Buniwanga, says this will help them in the fight against the heinous crimes against children.
It's a great initiative that Human Rights has taken upon itself to do that. I think that's an area where stakeholders, any stakeholder that has a mandate in relation to children, from the ministry, we welcome this kind of initiatives because it goes towards addressing the issues, the many issues that are emanating in relation to juveniles and children today.
To look at, the welfare and the rights of the child as it pertains to, their ability to fully realize, their rights under the Constitution.
Fiji Human Rights and Anti-Discrimination Commission is currently working with UNICEF to appoint and empower the officer with relevant expertise to handle child abuse cases. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
More than 800,000 tons of cane is expected to be harvested in the Northern Division this year, but there isn't enough manpower to carry out the work on the field. Now, 2 cane harvester machines that was brought upon the request of farmers will help ease the problem of labour shortage. Kelly Vadala reports.
More than $600,000 has been invested to bring 2 harvesters from India.
It is very difficult to find farmers to harvest cane in their fields during harvesting season because it's very hard to find laborers who are able to harvest cane. It's very expensive to bring laborers from villages around Vanuatu to harvesting. So these harvesters will surely release some pressure of the growers in harvesting cane. And those cane will be harvested in the flat area now that laborers can go and harvest where the harvesters will not be able to harvest.
Rafiq says 1 machine will be used in Lambasa while the other will be in Senganga, which has delighted the farmers.
We are very delighted that we will soon have a harvester because looking for people to harvest sugarcane is very hard.
This will benefit all the farmers because of the labor problem. Nowadays we can't find labor for harvesting the cane.
This is a great help because it is very difficult in getting labor to help in our farms.
There are more than 4,000 sugarcane farmers left in the Northern Division. Lambasa CPA Chairman Rafiq says the new cane harvesting machine will surely be an advantage when the cane harvesting season begins in June. This is one of the ways of solving the labor shortage as well. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Her design will be viewed by billions across the world and used by everyone in every organization that will be part of the climate change negotiations in Bonn, Germany in November. Eleanor Tarangaiviu caught up with the lady whose entry was selected by the government.
I feel deeply honored, very
Her design hit the mark. It was exactly what Fiji needed to take to the international community to show them the vulnerability to climate change of small island developing states.
What it's about is that we're a small island nation that is being engulfed by this wave, right? Which has, as you can see, it's like the eye of a cyclone as well. That is a very important, that swirl is a very important piece to communicate that of our vulnerability as a small nation. And despite that fact, even if we're vulnerable, we matter. Our voice matters.
Rona Sekiguchi, originally from the Philippines, owns Greenhouse Studios. The idea to develop this particular logo was inspired by the events of Tropical Cyclone Winston.
Thinking about the adverse effects of climate change is really what drove it home for me, that that what we are communicating to all the other nations of the world is that if we do not help each other to do something about climate change, then small island developing states like Fiji will disappear.
Meanwhile, there were 2 runners-up in the competition, which was launched by the Fijian government in early February.
Fiji is the first country to see the sun. Because of the sun, we have climate changes, which includes ice ages, storms and hurricanes.
I think it's a blessing in disguise because I didn't expect this at all.
The winning design will be featured on one of Fiji Airways planes, and Sekiguchi gets a return ticket to any of Fiji Airways destinations. Eleanor Turangaibiu, FBC News.
More than $100,000 was raised at a charity dinner hosted by the Foundation for the Education of Needy Children in Lami last night. Money raised from the charity dinner will benefit Fijian children that are in need of clothes, food, school stationeries and other needs. Fence Fiji has also started to develop learning centres around the country and hopes to have more. Work is underway to extending their support to children in rural islands and villages like Koro, Naitasiri and others.
What we're trying to do is to look at areas where they're concentrated and to build learning centers where they can come in the evening, and there are some retired teachers around who come to help them. There's a conducive place. We give them a little bit of nutrition, and then we've got our people have donated us laptops.
Coming up later in sports with Jamie, he'll tell us about the maritime zone to be held tomorrow. But before that, Rachel will be here to tell us about the latest supermarket in Suva.
Yes, Jackie, good evening, and coming up in Growing Fiji tonight. Harvest Church opens its latest supermarket. And new and improved credit cards launched. Stay with us.
I'm Rafni from Nepal and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Stanley Girdler and I'm from Australia, but I'm part Fijian from Rugby, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
For the best music and less talk, we tune into Today FM in Nasalai Village. Today FM rocks.
My name is Inai Ali and I'm from Ba, and I love the big breakfast on Today FM. I just love it and hope you love it too.
My name is Jay from La Paz. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Naushin and I'm from Sambeto, and I love Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In business tonight, more than 60 women from the public sector gathered to fill in applications for the 2017 Women in Business Awards. Hosted by the Ministry for Industry, Trade and Tourism, these women were encouraged to recognize for their effort. WIB President Dr. Nurbano Ali says the public sector employs a lot of women and therefore the application drive is vital. Applications close on the 21st of April with the awards night to be held on the 20th of May.
We recognize government as the largest employer in the country. And also we also recognize the fact that government has a lot of women in employment. And women are increasingly going in higher levels, in senior positions in government. We notice it, we see it, and during our application drive we did not see public sector coming in.
In a bid to provide safer credit card experience, ANZ Fiji today launched its new, more safer chip credit cards. Country head Fiji South Minim says the bank decided to bring this product into the market due to the increased numbers of fraud cases over the years. The new chip credit cards are available for ANZ Visa Classic, Visa Business Cards, MasterCard Gold and MasterCard PSB Gold.
We will be replacing every single card of our customer, because it is important for them to make sure that they have the new card rather than the old card. How it works, we will have the card issued and we'll make sure that we start calling the customers, and if a customer he is in West, he can go to the West branch.
International tensions is pushing investors towards gold and securities. Here's Alyssa Pedi from HFC Bank to tell us more.
Vinaka Rachel. Japan's Nikkei share average fell yesterday, and the S&P 500 was on track for its worst day in 3 weeks as geopolitical tension over North Korea continued to rise. North Korea's state media warned of a nuclear attack on the United States at any sign of American aggression as the U.S. Navy strike group steams toward the Western Pacific. As a result, Japan's Nikkei share average dropped 0.3%, while the Dow Jones was down 0.23% and the S&P 500 was down 0.42%. Nervous investors are seeking shelter in gold, U.S. Treasury bonds and the Japanese yen, which continues to strengthen due to demand. And back to you, Rachel.
Thanks, Elizabeth. On to today's exchange rates. The Chinese yuan weakened against our dollar to close at 3.23. The Australian and American dollar strengthened to close at 62 and 66 cents. The New Zealand and PNG kina followed suit to close at 66 and 134. Onto the commodities market, an increase across the index as oil rose to close at $53.19 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,252 an ounce, and silver went up to close at $18.30 an ounce. In Growing Fiji tonight, residents of Toorak and the surrounding areas will now have access to a new shopping experience with the opening of the new Harvest supermarket. The supermarket chain of stores comes under the Global Harvest Holdings Limited and is part of the church's 8-year plan that was officially launched in 2011. Savara Tumbua tells us more.
Serving the community is the main purpose of staging this development. According to the president of the CMF Church, Reverend Kurulo, one of the dreams of the church is to develop people economically.
There are 5 components that we are able to develop. The number one component is the people. That we have to develop the people spiritually, characteristically, skillfully, and also as a family, and also in the areas of economics.
The new Harvest supermarket, located at the corner of Amy and Toorak Street in Suva, employs 21 staff who will operate its 8 departments, including a food court and a bakery. Harvest supermarket director Michael Makasiale confirms they will open few other shops in the future.
Currently in negotiations for a site in Nandi, which we hope to try and seal the deal sometime either today or tomorrow. And then we've also got another site in the Suvarnasori corridor, which we also feel should open by about June or July.
This is the 4th Harvest supermarket to open its doors. It only operates from Mondays to Saturdays until 10 p.m. and does not sell alcohol and cigarettes. It was renovated at a cost of $100,000. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
And that's it from Business Tonight. Now to sports, and here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening. In sports tonight, excitement builds for Maritime Zone meet, and evenly balanced pools drawn for 2017 Fiji Fat. This and more coming up.
Well, Tevitarokuta, my Vonokula and Rasa Lotoka, Duba Talita Kanaporo on a radio Fiji one.
Bulan Arango Pina, my Corviri Nandi, Auto Talitaka Navarongo and a radio Fiji one, na Procaramu, Masmasu and Mataklai.
Oya, Choni Kurinabila, my Vunagoru, Namakete Hinga Tokakwe, do Talitakina Navarro on a radio Fiji one, Gena and Domoiviti.
Na radio Fiji one, and Domoiviti in Vonga and Vienna.
5 schools have confirmed their participation in the Maritime Zone Athletics competition, which will be held in Suva tomorrow. Fiji Secondary Schools Athletics Association has classed this year's Maritime Zone as one of the most interesting in recent time, with schools traveling from as far as Rutuma. Vastal Prasad reports.
Countdown begins for this year's Fiji Finals. The Maritime Zone is gaining a lot of attention. Athletes from Rotuma, Andi Moapa, Ngau Secondary, Ratufinau and Didia Secondary will be part of the event, which is the final zone competition before the Coca-Cola Games.
It's going to be one of the best maritime competition. In the past we had three schools coming in.
This year's Coke Games will see 147 schools and around 2,495 athletes taking part in the 3-day event.
The programs are with the printers. We are now just working on the final thing, and that is just counting up the passes for the athletes and the managers.
Coming up right Athletics Fiji will also be scouting for outstanding talent for the Oceania Championship to be held later in the year.
Athletics is a sport that is
the basic foundation for all sports. For anyone to perform well in any of the sports, they must at least do part of athletics.
The Fiji final begins next Thursday at 2 p.m. with 100 meters heats. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Athletics Fiji has received a major boost towards preparations for upcoming competitions. The Shop and Save chain of supermarkets gave the sporting body $65,000 today. Athletics Fiji President Joe Roden says the funds will be used for the National and Oceanic Championships and to send athletes to the World Championships in London later in the year.
That we will put another good show this year. And apart from the Oceanic Game, we have the World Championship for our athletes. It's the best opportunity for them to qualify for the World Championship because they're competing at home. They have to win their race, win their event in order to qualify for the World Championship.
I wish to express my great joy with Athletics Fiji for allowing mass participation from communities, disabled persons, organizations, and affiliated members of Athletics Fiji through the various development initiatives.
The Aquaculture rugby team will be playing its first game this Saturday in preparation for the Vodafone Vanua Championship. Recently established, the team that's made up of players from the 5 zones in Aquaculture has been in camp for the past 2 weeks. Eleanor Turangaviu reports.
50 players vying for a spot in the team to represent the province of the Aquaculture as it prepares for its first ever championship at the end of this month.
They have been like massive sponges that soak in all the information and the training, and no one takes a backward step, no one argues, they just get on with it, and so simple to engage their buy-in into what we're trying to achieve.
The team plays its first match this Saturday at Tadilevu village in Sabu against the army team in Lambasa, Mbainiwoleku.
Being this far away from the major cities is a challenge to find sponsors. Absolute challenge to try and get players together to have camps, and more so having gyms and rugby facilities to be able to take them to. But at the same time, there's a lot of natural resources we have here which we use.
The players come from villages all over the Aquaculture, most of whom are farmers. Being called up into the squad is a dream come true for many of them.
It's good. It's a chance for me to prove to be a great player in the Aquaculture.
It means a lot. I can showcase myself, help the Aquaculture to further the rugby for Sabu.
After the match this Saturday, a 34-member squad will then be selected to play in the Vodafone Vanua Championship. Eleanor Turangaviu, FBC Sports.
Pools have been drawn for this year's Vodafone Fiji FAC to be held at Ratu Thakambau Park in Nausori next month. With defending champion Nandi and host Rewa heading a group each, organizers anticipate stiff competition in both pools. Vastil Prasad reports.
Defending champions Nandi has been drawn with Lambasa, Ba and Raketi in Pool A, while host Rewa is pooled with Suva, Lautoka and Rakiraki. With both pools evenly balanced, no one team can be tagged as a sure bet for the elimination stages.
The pools are evenly matched, so there is no weak pool, there is no pool of death, and every day the 4 matches, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, will be cracker.
Fiji FA is looking forward to its first major tournament of 2017, and action will not only be on the field but off it as well.
As you heard, that we will be rebranding all our tournaments, create a mascot so people can identify themselves to this tournament.
Major sponsors Vodafone has pumped in a total of $75,000 for the tournament.
We are really proud to once again partner with Fiji FA to bring this much awaited tournament in the Fiji FA calendar, which is the Vodafone Fiji FAC 2017 tournament.
Looking at the pools, it's not going to be an easy ride for any team. With less than a month remaining, the preparation should have begun already.
I've heard that they are trying to get all their top players in shape for this tournament.
Nakalevu hustling away, then he comes out onto
I'd like to wish all the teams the very best for this tournament. and may the best team win, and also special wishes to the newcomer Rugby.
Fiji Fect will be held from 12th to the 14th of next month at Ratu Dakambau Park in Nausori, with the finals to be played a week later at a venue yet to be confirmed. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Fiji table tennis rep Mary Roden says lack of training time may affect Fiji's para players at this week's Oceania event. The Paralympian says access to training facilities in the lead-up to the ITTF para event has been limited. The competition begins tomorrow at Suva's ANZ Stadium.
For us para, we have been given only an hour to train in the afternoons. It's just because of this change in the venue, and this is affecting our training. I would really love to train longer hours. A full day would even be nice.
Hopes of getting a Fiji National Rugby League team into the New South Wales Cup competition is still alive. The bid team, led by league legend Petero Divunideva, continues to work on Fiji's inclusion. Divunideva says their efforts have been progressing well and that they anticipate results soon.
Yeah, at the moment, we're still working hard with our New South Wales Cup bid, our Fiji New South Wales Cup bids. So really excited by that. But Rugby League is growing stronger and stronger here in Fiji, and it's a wonderful opportunity to be here again.
That's it from sports this evening. Join Ritika with a weather update later on. And in the world of the weird and the wonderful, take a look at a new method of chili farming being used in Brunei. Catch that after the break.
Warong na Radio Fiji 1.
Bulan na rango Pina, may korbiri nandi, autotalitaka na warongo na Radio Fiji 1, na programo ni mas masu na mataklaylay.
Oya ochone kurinambila mai Vunagoro na makete hinga toka kwe kido talitakini na warongo na Radio Fiji 1 gene na domo iviti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na domo iviti na vonga ni BNN.
People born into the digital age are unlikely to have experienced the magic that happens when the needle of a turntable touches a record's grooves. But this 150-year-old technology has been enjoying a revival around the world. Ritika is next with a look at the weather.
It was a comfortable day across the nation. The southerly breezes keeping the humidity down, and it appears the good weather will stretch into the holiday weekend. Now let's look at the west. They had a fine sunny day with bar topping the temperatures again at 33 degrees. Eastwards from Pacific Harbour to Suva, it was mostly sunny with a few cloudy periods. Suva hit a comfortable 30 degrees with moderate breezes. Turning to the north, Lambasa was warm at 33, Savu much cooler at 30. At sea, southerly winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. Taking a look at the tides, the next low tide will be at 1:45 tonight with high tide at 7:55 tomorrow morning. Sunrise will be at 6:15. Tomorrow's forecast calls for generally fine everywhere with a chance of overnight or early morning showers in Suva and Savu. Of course, as usual, Bayan Lambasa will be the hot spots, up around 33 degrees. Looking further on to Friday, expect the fine weather to continue into the weekend. And that, Jackie, is weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Ritika. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, is drug intake by school students becoming a major concern?
I'm really concerned about students' involvement in drugs because they are our future generation.
Yes, it's affecting their schoolwork.
Yes, it's a major concern and the ministry have to take action before it's too late.
Yes, I'm a teacher. I've always been concerned about drug and substance abuse by young people. And when you go out in the community, like a wedding or something and a function, and then you see children of very young age indulging in excessive yangona and smoking and all that. Kids are now influenced in drugs addiction. They find it's like a fun to them.
Children do drugs because their parents don't look after them, and that is why these are taken to schools and becomes a growing concern.
the world of the weird and the wonderful today, using a high-technology system known as fertigation has helped boost the production of a local chili farm in Brunei. The term fertigation is a combination of fertilization and irrigation.
Using the system, the Eco Nendi Agro-Biz company in Tutong district has produced top-quality chilies not only for the domestic market but also for export. Located at a site provided by the government, the company began planting 2,000 chili plants using the fertigation technique that enables the plant to be watered and fertilized in a more systematic way. Using the system, chili plants are grown using polybags and not on the land surface like in the traditional method. Using the modern method, the company is able to increase chili production up to 1 metric ton annually. In line with its vision to promote agriculture, the company has taken a number of initiatives to assist other local farmers and youths who are interested in such method. The initiatives also include introducing the world of agriculture among students to enable them to learn more about the sector. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Recapping the main stories, FSC confident of sugar industry recovery, millions of dollars lost in aquaculture imports, and government to take services to outer areas. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, should false news and hate speech on social media be subject to fines in Fiji? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day. Our contributor today is Kaiwai Diver from Kandavu. This is not your everyday shot with dolphins enjoying the Fiji waters and making it a memorable sight. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. Until next time, from the team and I, good night.
कमल रोशनी है, हम लोगों में रहते हैं और मिर्ची एफएम सबसे बेस्ट स्टेशन है।
हमारा नाम मिर्ची है, हम गोल्ड टाउन तापुआ में रहता है और मिर्ची इज हॉट इन तापुआ।
Hi, we Bagels. We love Mirchi FM because it's hot.
निवेश तापुआ में रहता है, सुनता है यहाँ मिर्ची एफएम is very hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.